This little canal here was full of pond turtles, most of which were these red-eared sliders. A few of them were melanistic, so you can't see any of the red and yellow patterning on the head. In this group, though, there was one peninsula cooter. You could see a little bit of that orange striping through the algae on the shell. Unlike these red-eared sliders, the peninsula cooter is a native species to South Florida. And next to this really large Florida largemouth bass is a yellow-bellied slider, which is a subspecies of the pond slider, meaning that it's technically the same species as the red-eared slider, just different subspecies. The greater Meadowcatids, genus Forcep, are almost impossible to tell apart species without a good view of the appendages at the end of the abdomen. Even though I can't really tell what species this is exactly, it's still interesting to see the sounds that they make, and you could see the wings vibrating, creating that trill call. This guy right here, a Cape May Warbler, is one of our early spring migrants. And this guy right here is about as beautiful and perfectly plumaged as a male can get, with the bright yellow coloration, clean black stripes, the bold white wing bar, and of course the identification factor, that orange cheek. Females have a similar pattern, but are overall like a duller yellow with more brown and gray. Black-whiskered vireo is one of our rarer migrants through South Florida. You can often see them, if you're lucky, with other vireos and large flocks of warblers. It's very similar to the red-eyed vireo, which is more common here, but it has a longer beak, darker eyes, and that black stripe running down the sides of each side of the throat. You can also hear the distinctive calls. Speaking about distinctive calls, the purple martin doesn't really sound like anything else we get in North America. I oftentimes say that they sound like alien transmission sounds. But yeah, this individual right here is a subadult male. You can see he has a little bit of that female-like coloration with little patches of iridescent bluish purple. Soon enough though, this guy will be all that bluish purple iridescent color. Not quite sure what this big Florida softshell was doing so far away from the water, but it looked really out of place just walking around the grass. And what's hilarious is that instead of going around that branch, it decides to crawl on top of it. And it struggles a little bit, but it made it through. While the two-striped Forcep tail is Florida's most common clubtail species, this is only personally my second time ever seeing one. You can tell this is a male by the much thinner abdomen, which is a lot thicker in females, but I didn't know that their abdomens could actually get this bright orange. Well, I've been seeing Everglades sprites pretty regularly for about the past 2 months. They must be around the peak of their flight season because I've been seeing a lot more than usual the past week or so. They're an easy species to identify once you see the broken, thin white stripe along the shoulder. This is a Citrine Forktail, another very common Florida damselfly species, though a lot harder to catch than the Everglades sprite. You can tell this is a full-grown male because of the bright green and yellow coloration on the body. Adult females are duller and immatures are like a reddish color. The Gulf wireworm, named after their larvae, is a small common click beetle species in South Florida. The reason members of this family are called click beetles is because when under stress or when stuck, they can move in very drastic ways, creating an audible clicking sound. I didn't take video of this, but I was testing out this clicking sound on this individual, and it was very loud for such a small beetle. The more famous Florida click beetle is the false-eyed click beetle, because they actually have bioluminescent eye spots that are visible in the nighttime. This right here is only my second time ever catching a southern black racer, and my first time having it sit still long enough for me to get nice close-up shots like this. And this individual is absolutely gorgeous, very black above, almost bluish, very shiny, with that contrasting white chin, and of course those distinctive big racer eyes. And the name racer is no joke. These guys are extremely fast and hard to keep up with, incredibly hard to catch. That's why out of the probably hundreds of times I've seen this species, this is only the second time I've gotten my hands on one. So this one snapped at me a couple times, as you can see right now, but only successfully bit me once, and it was one tiny little scratch on my knuckle. But he didn't musk on me at all and was a lot calmer than the average black racer this whole time. But it is time to release it back now.